Hey, how's it going, guys? I am going to do my this project. Obviously, this time on chapter or week 7. I forgot to do week 6. I obviously told you, Louis, and I'll hand it in whenever I can. Obviously, before school ends. But yeah. Anyways, I guess I'll do a video since everyone's for some reason is typing their assignments. Apparently, some of them have broken cameras and or if they decide I'm just gonna type. I don't feel like doing a video. I'll do a video though. So, anyways, I picked three of the games that I picked was Red Dead Redemption, the Texas Hold'em mini game, Journey, and Antechamber. So let's get going. Red Dead Redemption Texas Hold'em mini game. I mean, I've played this before. I haven't really played real Texas Hold'em or poker. I think I have like once or twice, but I don't remember the rules or I guess, the terms. But as much, I probably shouldn't be picking this one just because I don't know that. But I have played the one on the game a lot, on Red Dead Redemption a lot, and that's actually really fun. I mean, I've been able to go through at least an hour or so just playing that mini game, and then I would go back and bounty hunt or do a mission or something. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot like the real deal almost. If the characters wouldn't be scripted, saying the same stuff, but otherwise it's almost the real thing. The reason it is because it has the same rules. It uses the same rules applied to this, and it's unpredictable. It's not like a real. It's not like a scripted thing when you can do something a certain way, you'll automatically get points or win. You have to really either be good at offensive or defensive ways of playing the game, while the other characters, the other computer characters, may do the same. But I have noticed, like at certain places you go to, that are harder or not as hard. For example, the one you go to in the saloon in the Armadillo, that place is not as hard. I mean, that's one of the standard places you can go and play poker. And it's actually well, there's certain characters, I guess you could say. I guess the only thing that's not predictable or is predictable is the characters, because the racist grocery guy or person that has the shop who's a racist, he seems to win a lot, or either to outlast the other two characters sometimes. I mean, that's just my opinion. That seems to happen to me a lot whenever I play. That guy seems to outlast the other two players, and or sometimes. I mean, I think I beat him a few times, and then he left, and then so I guess most of the time it's unpredictable. Sometimes he seems to win, but yeah, it's like a real traditional card game with all the same rules apply, and yeah, that's all I want to say about that. And then Journey, which is obviously you've probably heard of it. Everyone has. It's a very simple yet very beautiful and amazing game because of just how it's not like every other game out there, in terms of there's no actual story or plot. There's no violence or monsters or anything to fight or kill, and there's puzzles, but it's fairly simple puzzles. I mean, if you like, one of the first ones you do is when you in this big area and you're just jumping on these cages and you kind of glow and get this flag to glow, and it disintegrates and releases all these tiny other little strips of fabric, which forms a bridge. And you have to do this 4 times in order to form this giant bridge to get to the other side. And I mean, it's pretty dang fun. It's cool. It's a lot of the way, and the controls are simple. It takes basic controls like you would from like one of the older games, and it just kind of you tilt the controller to turn left or right, or at least turn the camera left or right. You can move obviously with the joystick, and then there's a certain button or two you use to jump or absorb things, but otherwise that's really it. And the coolest thing about this game, besides the visuals and the fact that it's a huge game that allows you to explore and encourages you to explore, is the fact that you could it has these random co-op moments where you play with other people, but you can't communicate besides pressing this button to create sounds, and that's the only way to communicate. It's like, hey, over here. You just keep pressing it together because, and you're with basically this person you can't talk to or don't even know. I mean, you could be playing with someone across the world even, and you wouldn't even know it. And you're doing the same exact thing and trying to get to the mountain together, and that's just so cool to be able to work with someone you don't even know, have maybe nothing in common with. You have this one common goal to go to this mountain at the end of the journey, and yeah, that's pretty neat aspect. And then there's Antechamber, and this basically takes everything that Jane McDonald or any of the people that wrote any of the thing in the books we've read. It kind of, I mean, maybe not reality, but like the medium of the video game, with how it talks about the basic things with storytelling and controls, just takes out the window. Literally does. I mean, there's no reason. I mean, it's a first-person player game that allows you to. You're basically in this antechamber, and you don't know how you got there, and you have to somehow try and get out. But the cool thing about this is that whatever you do, it always changes. You can't expect, if you're going to jump across this gap to the next other side, and it has these big words saying jump. It's like, okay, I'll jump, and you do, and you fall down. You plummet to the very bottom of the antechamber, and it's like, okay, and you read this caption, one of my favorite captions, and it says, failure to proceed does not mean failing to progress. And it's just kind of like, whoa, this is pretty deep and cool. I better just continue on, see what happens. And everything you think about it, first-person shooters, well, it's not there. I mean, you're not collecting big guns or weapons. You could maybe collect a few tools to help you get through, but otherwise just, nothing lethal. And there is this creature going through this, I think, this big black blob that it's going through, but otherwise you're not really threatened by anything. You just need to think outside the box. Like there's this hallway where there's on one side, well, I guess it's kind of like a four-way hallway where the way you go in this other room, and then on either side of you, left and the right, there's this eye that you have to stare at, and it opens up. It's to another hallway. And then on the other side, there's this door that only opens when you have your back turned. If you turn and face it, it closes. So you have to, think like, oh, I have to walk backwards, or I have to stare at the eye for a bit before it starts to actually do anything. And you have to, and a few other things that are pretty cool that make it a game that teaches you to think instead of to just brutally go forth and conquer, when you have to just simply use your smarts and your well, it just encourages you to pause and think for a bit. And even though it's timed, it's also timed, so you have to think quickly, I guess. And you probably won't be able to beat it the first time, and if you do, then you're pretty awesome then. But yeah, it probably requires you to play several times in order to actually get to beat it. And yeah, that's what I have to say. I'm not sure if I'm as accurate as this is what I have to say about these games. They're pretty fun. So yeah, just have a good night.